Part 59. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 581. As for the three puzzles in the text description, Oreki-san did not participate. The reward points were too few and he had no urgent need to obtain them. And Shiina-san seemed to be very enthusiastic, and if she took off the other person's labor at this time, it would be too much. But I'm a little tired from walking, how about taking a rest, Sato-san beside him said. Oreki. Right. Oreki-san knows that hot girls are all liars. Both the reading and the treasure hunt are fake and have a purpose. It was as if she had been given the description of a scavenger hunt, and she confirmed it without even looking at it. Although I feel that Koitaryu's offense has always been very strong, Oreki-san feels that the hot girl's offense is also very strong. Half an hour later, the two walked out of the small room together. At this time, they came to the theater where they had held a meeting and watched a play there. What is being performed now is a Greek myth, telling the story of the Golden Fleece. The content is probably the story of the princess and Jason came from afar to ask for the kingdom's Golden Fleece. The king refused, but the king's daughter fell in love with Jason. She fell in love with Jason in various ways, and even stole the Golden Fleece to make Jason leave. She also threw her brother into the sea to prevent her father from recovering the Golden Fleece. I don't quite understand what the script is trying to express. But obviously, none of the students here care about comedy. Everyone is searching for QR codes. Generally speaking, QR codes can be found on public facilities on ships, and the location is not too hidden. After all, it is too hidden for anyone to find it. Soon. Found a QR code. Some students reacted. Do you want to scan first? But what if it's 5,000 points? I want to sweep 100,000 points. The students began to discuss. It's really lively, Sato-san said. Yes. Because everyone is enthusiastically looking for QR codes to treasure hunt, Oreki-san feels out of place with them. But Oreki-san, don't you want to decipher the locations of the three designated QR codes in the description? The translation of this sentence is it okay not to look for the QR code of 501 million points? But how is your relationship with Shiina? Oreki-san turned around and asked. Shiina? She seems a little afraid of me, Sato-san said. This was the impact of the previous beating of Ryuan. Sato Kuruzawa and Horikita learned from Shiina-san that Ryuan wanted to ambush. Hiri's cell phone was also taken away by Sato. Although it was Oreki-san who sent it back afterwards. Only. This still left a psychological shadow on Shiina-san, who felt that hot girls were scary. And now? Are you sure you want to do this? Sato-san. The casual mention was something that made Shiina-san think of Alexander. However, Oreki doesn't think the other party needs money, so he sometimes transfers points to Megami. Megami will share it with Sato. So they should not be short of living expenses. And thinking about it? Sorry, Oreki-san, but Sato-san said suddenly. I went to pick flowers. Before participating in the project, I drank a lot of drinks, then, I actually wanted to go to the toilet just after the scavenger hunt started. Probably very embarrassed. So she became all red. Is it? Then you are very strong even after staying with him for half an hour. So Oreki-san sat aside and waited like a gentleman. Oreki-san, just as he sat down, he noticed a boy and a girl walking towards them. The boy was a third-year student, and Oreki didn't recognize them. But as for girls, they are students in Class D, second grade. Oreki met him once, when he was asked to meet by Principal Tsukijo, and then a girl from Class D followed him. The name is Matsushita Kayaki. He is a friend of Sato and Kuruzawa. Has good taste and cleverness. Although this girl seemed to be politely talking to the boys around her, her eyes were quickly looking left and right, as if she was looking for something. I guess I was harassed. Then look for solutions to break the harassment. But now, almost at the moment of eye contact, they met. The other party is walking directly towards here. Oreki-san, have you already formed a team? Matsushita-san said quickly. Oreki. In other words, this is indeed the case, I hope he will come to the rescue. Not yet, how about together? Oreki-san said. That's it, I'm sorry, Senior Panasonic said quickly to the third-year senior. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. In fact, the senior who wanted to pester him just looked at Oreki-san and left quickly. Rather, he wanted to leave when he saw the student council president's boyfriend. If Nagaun can't even deal with this guy, how can he? Huh, seeing the senior leave, Matsushita Kayaki breathed a sigh of relief. Matsushita is different from ordinary girls. She is a little mature, but also very tasteful, with a bit of refinement. It's just that they will encounter the same troubles as ordinary girls. This senior is going too far, Matsushita said. I have flatly rejected the other party, but in the end he still wants to pursue me. The other party is already a third-year student, and dating at this time is not good for girls. And the other person is still a student in Class C, and his future prospects are not very good, Matsushita said. Is it? Oreki-san still remembers Matsushita-san's views on mate selection. The requirements are quite high. Then ordinary seniors will definitely not be able to do it. So, Matsushita-san changed his impatience in front of the seniors and became quite interested now. His clear and smart eyes flickered. Oreki-kun, are you still without anyone to form a team? Oreki. Do you want to get points? Oreki-san said quickly. Matsushita-san is not an ordinary nymphomaniac, on the contrary, she is quite thoughtful. Otherwise, I wouldn't have followed Yu-chen before. But Oreki-san also remembers that the other party disdained Horikita-san. Although I still have some desire, I think the main thing is to participate, Matsushita Kayaki said. Matsushita's family environment is very good, but when she came to this school, she wanted to hide her strength so that she could get along with everyone. So I pretended to be weak during the school interview. Both my performance in the written test and the interview were deliberately mediocre. And now it's a huge loss. Even if she thinks she has well, after meeting Oreki-san before, she no longer dares to say that she has the qualifications of Class A, so she should be at least Class B or even Class C. Among them, the class evaluation score of Class B is relatively good. As for Class C, it is said that Ryoan's 2 exams brought huge points to the students in the class. In other words, being a student in Class C actually provides good benefits. But she is a student in Class D. Although the class evaluation scores are there, most of them are not theirs, so she can only get a little living expenses every month. Very painful. In this way, she also thought about getting some points for this uninhabited island exam. Then disappointed. Not to mention the fact that she was with her companions, and even if she did her solo, she didn't think she would be able to reach the top 10. The students in the school are also very good. But fortunately, every student on Oreki's side was compensated with 50,000 points for abstaining in advance. Just 50,000 points is not enough. She was actually suffering a lot. If the goal is 550,000 or 1 million points, then there is probably no hope, Oreki-san said. After all, this is everyone's goal. So, Matsushita-san suddenly grasped Oreki-san's left hand. Please tell me where the QR code for the 300,000 points is. Oreki. If you ask him, he has not thought about the treasure hunt at all from the beginning of the exam until now. The only thing confirmed is that Shiina-san has started hunting for points. However, the palm of Oreki's left hand was held by the girl's hands. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 582. This experience is not unfamiliar. I was held by Kushida-san in the beginning, and also by Horikita-san. It's just that they are them, and Oreki doesn't think that he and Matsushita-san have reached a relationship where they can shake hands. And why are you here, Panasonic? A girl with orange curly hair walked over. As if she wanted to hold Matsushita's hand, she held Matsushita's hand skillfully, and then pushed Oreki's hand out. Then he turned around slightly. Orange pupils flashed. Why can Matsushita-san hold you? The look in his eyes probably conveyed this meaning. Sato. Have you teamed up with Oreki Houtaru? Matsushita said. Matsushita and Sato are usually in the same group, but they just have an ordinary relationship. Rather, Sato, Kuruzawa, and Hospi have all joined the student union. Therefore, Matsushita-san's sense of superiority at the beginning became less and less. At the same time, she also knew very well that Sato-san confessed his love to Oreki-san, but was rejected, and then Oreki-san and Sakayanagi Arisu appeared in a relationship. So Sato-san is undoubtedly the loser. He was even teased by Oreki-san's real girlfriend Yuzu Sakayanagi. But this seems like a disconnect. Ah, well, yes, Sato said. Matsushita, then it's okay. I'll go find Shin Ohara. Yes, Sato nodded. In this way, probably feeling that he had been caught, Matsushita-san ran away quickly. Then Sato-san said, where else are you going to rest? Get rid of all the Panasonic aura. So where is he going to cleanse your breath? So, the two sat in the theater and watched the play together. And the other side. The scavenger hunt lasts 3 hours. However, about 2 hours later, the student responsible for recording had noticed that all 100 QR codes had been scanned. In other words, similar to the uninhabited island exam, the treasure hunt ended early. The participating students received points, and everyone in the student union completed the organization, completed all tasks, and everyone separated. Only some members of the student union will need to stay behind to collect their belongings. As usual, President Sakayanagi asked her love rivals to do such troublesome and unskilled things. It's not that I don't want them to do troublesome things, it's just that they can't be used for really troublesome things, so it's better to just watch them work. It's just that this is the president's bad taste. But one person was exempted. That is Maesumi Kamuro. Rather than saying that she is also a member of the student council, it is better to say that Kamuro-san is actually President Sakayanaga's puppy. Status is different. Oreki Houtaru just formed a team with a girl. But I didn't go to participate in the treasure hunt, Maesumi Kamuro said. Oh. So why do you know? Itaiji Yuki frowned, and suddenly felt that, even though he had obtained the status of his girlfriend, there seemed to be something wrong. Chapter 273. Long time no see, long prophetic dream. Sakayanagi Yuzu is Oreki Houtaru's girlfriend and the student council president, so he naturally used his authority to announce their relationship in a high-profile manner. At the same time, she also emphasized that she should be careful when staring at Oreki-san's cat. Result: the sneaky cat didn't care at all and was still seducing her boyfriend. But what made Banlia classmates start thinking even more? Who is the girl who formed the team with Houtaru? Itaiji asked. Sato, Kamuro-san replied. This argument is effective because it was witnessed by many students. But Sakayanagi-san's cute little brows wrinkled. Sato. In other words, Houtaru will not refuse anyone? Can I have a losing streak, dog? This made her lose her sense of superiority as a girlfriend, and instead she felt a lot of pressure. What will happen if you say that Oreki-san and I break up? Sakayanagi Yuzu said suddenly. What do you want to do? Kamuro-san looked over. Because I seem to have heard some very outrageous remarks just now. No, classmate Sakayanagi shook his head again. In fact, she had just wanted to break up. It wasn't that she didn't like Houtarou, but that the position of her girlfriend was not good at all. This reminded her of the vacation, when she thought Houtarou was going on a date with her, but it turned out that he was with Horikita Suzune and even kissed her. This caused Banlieu to miss each other's first kiss. And now, Houtarou was pestered by other girls again, and at the same time he didn't refuse at all. A double feeling arises. Then the identity of girlfriend becomes a constraint. This feeling of being green is not good at all. So this cuckold should be given to Horikita Suzune. When it came to Horikita Suzune, Itaiji Yuzu glanced in that direction. This tree, Horikita-san, will finally bloom, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. What she is good at is attacking people's hearts, and Horikita Suzune was the one who took away Oreki-san's first kiss, so even though she put him in the student union, she also paid attention to him. But it's a pity that whether it was her own observation or arranging for Kamuro-san to inquire. But none of Horikita-san showed any interest in Houtarou. So the matter was dropped. Result. Today's Horikita Suzune feels very different. It seemed that he was shaken by seeing Houtarou. What a green love, Itaiji Yuki couldn't help but sigh. You don't understand. After all, you have no experience in love, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. But those words made Kamuro-san feel bad. Because what does it mean that she has no love experience? Isn't love just about being moved by your heart and then wanting to ask for it? If it was a heartwarming experience, she still had it. For example, on the ship last year, when she saw Oreki Houtarou approaching, she was shaken. But that was rejected by the other party. The other party didn't mean this at all. So she acts like a fool when she is shaken by herself. It has been sealed into the dark history by Kamuro-kun. It seems that Horikita is not calm enough today, Kamuro-san said based on his own observation. Isn't it? Sakayanagi Yuzu held the cane. You have to focus on it. After all, the other party took away the object of Houtarou's first kiss, but it was just wood before, and now the wood will bloom. There is no guarantee that he will take Houtarou away. Rather say. Even a woman like Sato who had rejected him could accept it, but Houtarou really wouldn't reject anyone at all. So if Horikita asked him for help, the scene would be unimaginable. But what a pity, Horikita-san, she is the winner. Because Sakayanagi has already thought of a winning plan. And the other side. Horikita-san and Kushida are still cleaning up. But I always feel like the student council president seems to be looking this way more, Horikita Suzune said. Maybe I noticed something was wrong with your state today, Kushida-san said casually. Horikita-san looked at Kushida. I'm not in a good state today. Can you tell? When Oreki saw you, your body froze. Who can not see such a direct performance? Have you finally realized, Oreki-san? Kushida said. But I don't recommend you to fall in love. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 583. Horikita. That's not what I mean. I mean, isn't the current Oreki-san the boyfriend of President Itayanagi? Oh. So Horikita, you are actually thinking that the other person already has a girlfriend. So think about morality. But there's nothing important about this kind of thing, Kushida-san said. If you are in a relationship, you may break up. Isn't it okay to be the one you eventually get married to? Horikita frowned, feeling that there seemed to be something wrong with Kushida-san's moral values. But then what do you think of him? Horikita-san continued to ask. Horikita also wanted to know this. Kushida and Oreki Houtarou's chaotic relationship. In the beginning, Kushida often used some cute, girly offensive, but Oreki-san couldn't resist, so he came to her to gain experience. So what Kushida really thinks is Kushida. Kushida now only feels that Horikita is difficult to deal with. Because don't you usually care about this? Kushida felt that Horikita's offensive was a bit strong today. But it's not possible, it's impossible, Kushida-san said. It's impossible for me to like him. Please don't worry about this. Regardless of appearance, personality, or even various abilities, he is not my type. So what kind of person do you like? Horikita seemed to be a little interested. Probably the type of hard worker who achieves his goals through hard work. Kushida-san suggested a direction that didn't seem too demanding. Then it is indeed not Oreki, Horikita Suzun said. He has everything. He doesn't need to work hard. Kushida. He. So Oreki-san is very annoying. What a winner in life. Horikita-san also confirmed that Kushida was safe. She used the girl's offensive against Oreki-san in the past, probably because she was utilitarian and wanted to win the other's favor. And it's completely unimaginable that Kushida would fall in love. So Kushida-san can believe it? Beep. Oreki-san, on the other hand, had already returned to the cabin, and when he took out his cell phone, he found that he had received messages from Megami and Itaiji. Huey's words here are a little subtle. Because you actually teamed up with Sato for a tryst. Did you do anything to her? Sato refused to talk about the progress, so what did you do? Huey's questioning was a little quick. But obviously. By the way, Sato-kun, did you tell Megami about your date with him? Are you really making it difficult for yourself? But don't worry, Kuruzawa-san, because there is no safety device like family planning supplies on the ship. Therefore, the purity between men and women can still be trusted. And Oreki felt that Sato was probably the kind of person who would do it once and then keep making requests. He was probably more aggressive than Koi Tayanagi. So he is also trying hard to maintain a certain degree. Oreki-san comforted Kuruzawa. Because we have to stay on the ship for many days, I am ready to sacrifice half a day of my own time to accompany her, so that she will not make trouble again. However, Banliu also sent a message. But note that only one text message was sent from Sakayanagi. It seems like it was sent by mistake. But Kushida-san also said that some people will send some punctuation marks if they feel panic. So Oreki-san asked the other party. It's okay, don't worry about me, I got this position anyway, I expected this kind of thing. Then I'm afraid I'll have to get used to it by Banliu. So what does this mean? And at this time. Beep. A mechanical system prompt sounded. Oreki-san looked over immediately. The previous task of the system was stuck on the small goal of obtaining 100 million, and Oreki was still thinking about Itayanaga's body, so he also wanted to do a task that could heal her body. As a result, is the mission coming now? Beep, congratulations to the host for triggering the side mission, me 10 years later. Task requirement, send a birthday gift to my daughter who was born on October 24th. Task reward, none. Mission period, 7 days. Mission punishment, Mirai and Kushida marry. Note, the ratio of time in precognitive dreams to real time is 1:1. Is there such a thing? This is the first time Oreki-san sees that the mission reward is nothing. Moreover, the punishment for the mission is to marry Kushida-san. Are you sure this is a punishment? Because the rewards and punishments of the mission were so exaggerated, Oreki-san was stunned for a moment, but Oreki-san only thought about it for a moment. The exams have ended early, but the students can still stay on the ship for a week's vacation. Then there's probably nothing particularly important. And because the previous task of a small target of 100 million was stuck for half a year, he was not sure when the next task would come if this task was abandoned now. In this way. Therefore, he wanted to accept the task more than ordinary enjoyment. After all, he had people he had to protect and heal. Turn on precognitive dreams. Oreki-san activated his abilities. Yes. There was a long gap, so Oreki-san closed his eyes. And thinking about it, suddenly my body felt warm, as if it was being illuminated by the sun's rays. First reaction. I am now being. But he's on the ship. There was also a mature female voice next to her. The sun has risen. It's hard to see you still staying in bed at this point. The other party's voice seemed familiar. There is a hint of gentleness in the coldness. And Oreki-san opened his eyes. What I saw was Horikita Suzune. Oh no, it was a Horikita, lawyer Horikita. The previous precognitive dreams were relatively one-sided, probably only one fragment. But this time, Oreki felt more real. Like now, Oreki had arrived at the dining table, preparing to have breakfast with lawyer Horikita. But probably because he is still young, he does not sit at the dining table and read the newspaper like an ordinary house husband. Only. Oreki-san is still a little unfamiliar with everything here. The only information that can be found is that he married Horikita Suzune 10 years later. At the same time, 2 children were conceived. They are Oraimu Ling and Oraimu Yin. Then, Kushida-san maintained his friendship with Horikita Suzune, but Kushida-san was broken and only thought about Midori Horikita. Once upon a time, Oreki felt that Mr. Chibashira's obsession was very deep, and in the end, Kushida-san would not be at a disadvantage. Probably because they liked their mother very much. Oreki-san was thinking about the names of his 2 daughters, and it was obvious that they were named after Horikita-san. Think so. There was a sound coming from the stairs on the 2nd floor. Good morning. Morning, ugh, I'm so sleepy. Then 2 little girls, who were still wearing pajamas and exposing their white calves, came to Oreki and the others. His appearance combines the characteristics of him and Horikita-san. Lingling and Union are twins, very similar in appearance, but one has long black hair and the other has short hair that just reaches her shoulders. The one with long hair is my sister, Lingling. So it's easy to identify. You 2 get up and go wash up. Lawyer Horikita looked over. Then drink a glass of salted water first, and then sit with Dad and wait for it to be ready. And after saying this, the 2 children immediately nodded obediently, and then went to work as their mother asked. Horikita-san has a somewhat rigid personality, but he is still very good at teaching children. Oreki thinks these 2 daughters are quite well behaved. But just sitting there waiting for something to eat was a bit embarrassing. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 584. But. Oreki-san called up the system requirements. Task requirement, give a birthday gift to my daughter who was born on October 24th. Although this was a mission with no reward, Oreki didn't want to cause any setbacks, so he naturally did it. The 2 daughters came to the table after washing themselves. They were only 5 or 6 years old, very immature. But he is probably still a child and quite cute. Speaking of which, are the birthday gifts for the 2 children ready? Oreki-san said suddenly. Eh? A gift? Dad, I want it, I want it. I want the toys from Aunt Kushida. Probably because of the children immediately became happy. It's that remote control toy that spins around and then flies out. The toy they were talking about was a gift from Kushida. In other words, Kushida is still the same, both adults and children like her. But it will be next year, lawyer Dan Horikita said at this time. It is September now, and your birthdays are all in June. So we have to prepare for next year. X2 Both children looked very unhappy. But Oreki-san found that he had captured quite important news. For example, Horikita's two daughters' birthdays are in June, but the daughter required by the mission was born in October. In other words, oh, so that's it? I was talking about giving a birthday gift to my daughter, but it turned out that it wasn't for lawyer Horikita's two daughters. Suddenly I felt that this mission was full of malicious intent. The punishment is that Kushida gets married, but Horikita's daughter has nothing to do with the mission. Chapter 274, Is Lawyer Horikita Sometimes Wary? Oreki felt that the task was a bit excessive. However, since it's not Horikita-san's child, then it's probably Itayanaga's daughter. From the precognitive dream, he knew that he, Itayanagi and lawyer Horikita had children. So by elimination, it might be Alice Sakayanagi. Then you have to contact the other party later. The other party's number is saved in Oreki's mobile phone, and it is also bound to the other party's mobile phone, similar to how he added friends when he was in Yuchin High School, so he can check each other's location. This is quite convenient. Although I think this may be because Sakayanagi wants to know his whereabouts. Only. Speaking of it, lawyer Horikita suddenly said at the dinner table. Banlu came to visit our home some time ago. She had a high-profile relationship with you in the past, but now she is alone. And, I have a blonde daughter. Is it? Although the current lawyer Horikita looks gentle and has a gentle personality, he is still not very good at identifying love rivals. And it's also a little restrictive in thinking. Because I don't know that many girls are pregnant with their ex-boyfriend's children and then raise them alone. Alone. Oreki-san felt a little guilty. So, it's better to wait for lawyer Horikita to go to work later, and then go and ask Sakayanagi out. Just mentioning Sakayanagi, she had played a police game with him before in the mall, and Ibuki-san, who had become a police officer at that time, spoke to Shiina-san, which made people care. Therefore, since we can stay longer this time, we can know if something happened to Shiina-san. And thinking about it, Horikita Suzun said again. We might have to go see Kushida today, though. Look at Kushida, Oreki looked over. It seems that he wants to say why he should watch Kushida. You asked me about Kushida before, lawyer Horikita said. But I've also paid less attention to her recently. She seems to be in trouble now. Is it troublesome? Oreki paid more attention. Yeah, lawyer Horikita said. It seems that she was deceived by a scumbag recently, and then got pregnant with his child. So I had to go see her and see if there was any place that could provide her with legal aid for it. Is that so? Was it the time when lawyer Horikita came over on a business trip? Just ask why she didn't let him use family planning products at that time. According to her words, she was in a safe period. As a result, isn't she still pregnant now? So the girl is indeed a liar. Then go and see her later, Oreki-san said. I'll go alone, but lawyer Horikita said. You still have a daily job, don't you? The case I have to deal with is not very urgent, so it's okay not to go to the law office today. But you have an appointment with a very important person today, so I suggest you go there, lawyer Horikita said. Rather, I'm a little surprised that my former classmates could actually climb to that position. Oreki. Which classmate are you going to meet? Have you forgotten? It's Ayanokaji, Ayanokaji-san, lawyer Horikita said. Oh. Ayanokaji-san. Then it is a less important existence. Oreki thought it was more important to see Kushida. It was just that I and Horikita were acting strangely when they went to see Kushida. So let's wait for Kushida to trick lawyer Horikita on his own. In this way. Come after me. You ran too fast. I want to play in the water more. Dad, put a rubber band on us. I want to play in the water. Horikita Suzun set out to see Kushida, and staying in the room, She could see Horikita Suzun driving away in a red car through the large floor-to-ceiling windows. 10 years later, lawyer Horikita's vigor has become less vigorous and gentler, but his ability has also increased a lot. Are you two so interested so early in the morning? Oreki looked down at his two daughters who came to him. Their appearance is very similar to that of Horikita Suzun, only their eye color follows his. But it's undeniable that they all look cute. Although she is still small, she will be a beautiful girl who will not lose to their mother when she grows up. Don't you have to go to school? Daddy is stupid, said Lingling. It's Saturday and you don't have to go to class. Although I really want to go, other children won't come out on weekends, Lingling said. There are a lot of kids at school to play with. Oh. That's it? So did anything interesting happen at school? Oreki continued talking to his daughter. This is also what I thought after triggering the system this time. The requirement of the task is to celebrate the birthday of my daughter who was born on October 24th. However, when he met Sakayanagi before, he also felt that he paid too little attention to his daughter. So now even Lingling and Union living around them hope to make up for it. So I plan to spend some time with my daughters before going to see Ayanokaji. Yes, there was a new classmate transferred into the school yesterday. Her hair is very unique, it's silver white. The short-haired Lingling said. As for the name, well, it's Kyan. What a good kid. This also shows that the kindergarten run by the Itchy-Nose family is very popular. But he actually named his daughter Kyan. This father is really considerate. However, if he has a daughter with silver hair, then he also wants to give her a nice name. The dome represents the sky. It means distant and peaceful. Of course, the more famous one is the sky called Fate. Even if you don't have a sister like that, it would be nice to have a daughter like that. Among the girls with silver hair that Oreki knew, Itaiji-san was one of them. In this regard, Alice's hair color follows his, which is a bit regretful. However, it is random that a child is born more or less similar to his parents. So maybe having another baby will give you a silver-haired daughter. But Alice is already 10 years old, and I don't know if Sakayanagi will agree to have another child. After all, she has always been concerned about her daughter's growth. So if we become a family with 2 children, we may not pay enough attention to the eldest daughter. Oreki also refused this, not wanting Alice to feel left out. Therefore, even as you grow older, you have to consider things more comprehensively. But Dad doesn't have to go to work. But Nene ran over and lay on Oreki-san's lap. She was not very tall, so she had to put her hands over her. Mom said you are the president of some big company, but you always stay at home, which feels suspicious. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 585. Oh. That's it? I haven't specifically learned about Oreki-san's current occupation. Maybe he's just a lazy father. Lingling also ran over and said. Dad, will you be happy eating soft rice? Will you be happy if you eat soft rice? Oreki realized that his daughter had really asked a good question. But there is no such thing. Even in a Kyosei high school, Oreki-san is still working hard to make money, even causing some shadows to some people. But I made so much money in the past, but it was still okay if I finally set up a company. But staying at home all the time, Oreki thinks this is life. After all, if you build a company, you can arrange for professional workers to manage it. If you do everything yourself, there will be no fun and only busyness. Because for him. Think so. System. Oreki-san is ready to check his status. Beep. Currently unable to demonstrate superpowers 10 years from now. Is it? What a shame then. Oreki wanted to take another chance. If it were me 10 years later, then I should have gained the ability to heal a Tayanagi Yuzu, so let's see how it works. But not now. and the daughters seemed to want him to go to work. At the same time, I think it's not good for Dad to lie to Mom, Ling Ling continued. Dad's company has gone bankrupt, because only Aunt Kuruzawa calls you president. And my mother also said that you must be honest. So even if the company goes bankrupt, don't bear it alone. My mother said that she has seen many people who cannot honestly admit failure to their families. Horeki's two daughters are not older, but they know a lot. And this is probably because it is his and Horeki's child. Oreki then touched Ling Ling's head. Companies don't go bankrupt that easily. Besides, Dad has a lot of money. Even if the company goes bankrupt, there will be no problem and he can support everyone. There's a lot of money and Union was interested in this topic. Then can it be okay if Union doesn't go to work in the future? Of course, Oreki-san asked the other person to sit on his lap. Ding dong. At this time, the doorbell rang. And Oreki also found that the screen of his mobile phone flashed an incoming call alert, the words Kuruzawa. I guess the other party has arrived now. So Oreki put his daughter down and walked to the entrance. Through the peephole, he could see a young woman with a beautiful golden single ponytail standing outside the door. Oreki then opened the door. Kuruzawa walked in. What's wrong? But Kuruzawa seemed a little confused. It should be said that she was the one who quickly discovered that something was wrong with Oreki-san. It's nothing, Oreki-san said. I'm going to meet Ayanokaji-san later. I've entrusted you to take care of the children. Hey. Ayanokaji, it's the one he launched 2 months ago, right? You are so ambitious. Although Aunt Kuruzawa said this, she still nodded. Then you go ahead and I'll stay with the children. With that said, she put on the guest shoes and walked into the living room. Is anyone going to the amusement park later? Kuruzawa asked. I want to play with that bumper car. The two children were immediately attracted. It looks like she's become quite adept at raising children too. But Oreki also got a little idea of his future life. He has a lot of money, owns a company, and then hires Kuruzawa as his secretary. Of course, it is obvious that it is probably not to make money or to settle people, but to make it easier for Kuruzawa to be by his side and then join his life. And because he has a legitimate identity, it is not surprising that he is a little too close to him. It's just that Kuruzawa-san was placed in the company, so what was Sato-san, who was her good friend, doing 10 years later? Has she fulfilled her dream of becoming a designer? Think so. Checking the time on his phone, he headed to a special place. It is a unique building. The most direct manifestation is that all the walls and ceilings in the facility are white. There is the White Room. White House and a Kyosei High School are sort of the same thing. But I don't want this kind of institution to continue operating. 10 years later, Ayanokaji-san looks more mature. Although his face was still expressionless, not even a smile. But these were all experiences he had experienced from Bifang in the past. I have been here since I gained some consciousness at the age of 2, and then completed all the courses at the age of 9. But even if there is nothing more to learn, you have to stay here. There is no freedom whatsoever. What I want is freedom. Speaking of Shirofu, it is about cultivating ordinary people into geniuses, Oreki said. Ayanokaji-san, have you ever thought that you might be a genius from the beginning? Genius. These are no longer important, Ayanokaji said. I have gained my freedom and completed what I promised you, so I will probably retire soon. Is it? Then you have worked really hard. Still looking for the freedom I want. Ayanokaji is actually taking over from his father. His father wanted to run for that position, but failed due to personal reasons, so he placed his hope on his son. But now Ayanokaji has taken over the opponent's resources and has reached this position. But this is not what he wants. But I hope you stick with it for another year, Oreki said. Because it takes at least a year for a proposal to be fully accepted and familiar to people. As the next Prime Minister, I want to give resources to Horeki Manabu, the student council president of the former high school Ayanokaji said. And this is almost designating the next successor. As for Horeki Manabu, he is excellent himself. If he gives the other party resources, then even if he takes over the heavy responsibility, he can probably do a good job. Moreover, Horeki Manabu is not an outsider, he is Oreki-san's brother-in-law. Only. Then please make sure to persist for one more year, Oreki-san said. Because a dedicated person like Horeki and I would definitely not approve of Ayanokaji's civil law reform. Because the other party had the experience of directly prohibiting the school from purchasing family planning supplies when he was about to leave school, Oreki had no doubt that Horeki Manabu would immediately abolish Ayanokaji's proposal to amend the civil code when he came to power. And this kind of thing must be stopped. My friend's book, he will be on the list tonight. Luye traveled through the civilization before the collapse of the world, trying his best to change the outcome of this era. Just before the end of the confrontation, parallel world comparison videos appeared inexplicably in both worlds. The world next door was falling into despair due to collapse, and I was instantly dumbfounded. Sakura, if he was here, wouldn't Ling die? Kevin, can this war be won without so many sacrifices? Alicia, I see. For everything, just trust him and everything will be fine. Mebius, hashtag @%*U0026. Emotional. And the world on our own side is rejoicing. They looked at the world next door that was on the verge of destruction, and then at the still prosperous human civilization on their side. As well as the genetic ascension plan, spiritual awakening plan, and cradle plan that emerged to ensure the continuation of humankind. Thanks to Luye's existence, our world can still be so beautiful. Chapter 275 The Future Life. Ayanokaji-san hopes to retire from that position early, but for the sake of his own happy life, Oreki-san hopes that the other party will delay it a little longer. And Ayanokaji probably also knows that if you gain power, you can also gain freedom to a certain extent. Only. When leaving the White Room, Oreki spotted an acquaintance. The other person was wearing a white suit and showed a professional smile, but his nasolabial folds had probably become deeper with age. This is Moon City. What a rare chance encounter, Mr. Yu Cheng greeted him proactively. I didn't expect to see you here. So, you are now loyal to Ayanokaji-san, Oreki said. What this is talking about is that Tsukijo was assigned a task to drop out Ayanokaji Kiyotaka in the past, but in the end, it completely failed on the uninhabited island. Absolutely, Mr. Yu Cheng said. Because the Lord has been imprisoned by Ayanokaji-kun and cannot contact the outside world. As a subordinate of that Lord, I am similar to the other person's property and will naturally be inherited by Ayanokaji-kun. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 586. Is it? It's actually a plan of imprisonment. It's so fierce, Ayanokaji-san. However, throwing the child directly into a white room from birth, and then intensifying training, there is no family affection at all, so Mr. Ayanokaji has no personal bottom line. This result is good for everyone. And Tsubasa should also feel relieved. Oreki didn't stay with Ayanokaji for long because he was concerned about Kushida. But lawyer Horikita hadn't come back yet, so he went to the amusement park again. Children are playing on the merry-go-round. And Kuruzawa took pictures of them with a camera. Megami, come here, Oreki said to Kuruzawa after looking at the state of the children. So the two of them walked to the side, but Lingling and Union could still be seen from this angle. So it's pretty safe. That. Just walking to the side with him, Kurosawa seemed to be hesitant. Then he finally looked up. He said as if he was holding back his shame. "Well, I'm on my period now, so I can't be with you." "Oreki." "No. That's not what he meant." "How should I put it?" Oreki-san said. "Tell me what happened to me after high school." Why are you asking me such a thing all of a sudden?" Hui looked at him strangely. "Is it some new way to test me?" But, although there was a hint of complaint, Hui was still quite obedient and contributed information as before. And Oreki also somewhat understood the development here. "Probably after I graduated from Yuchin High School, classes stabilized and I still graduated as Class A. Oreki-san chose to enter higher education." Prior to this, Sakayanagi Yuzu dropped out of school a year before graduation. And even though Oreki-san chose to go to higher education after graduation, he also did something very extraordinary. "You actually proposed to Horikita Suzun when you graduated," Megami said. "Oreki. Is that so? Is it so urgent?" However, Oreki also knew that Horikita's brother would come to pick up his sister when she graduated, so he probably made a deliberate proposal to get more points at Horikita Academy. Because if that was the case, then Horikita Manabu would have no reason to object. Oreki-san also breathed a sigh of relief about this. Because Banliu dropped out of school early, he didn't see the scene. From this point of view, it is better to drop out of school. "Then what happens next?" Oreki-san asked. "After that, it was normal to enter college, but when you graduated from college, you proposed directly, and as a guest, Sato-san cried like a cat." Oreki. Oreki-san is used to Sato-san crying. "Then what?" Oreki said. "What happened to my relationships after that? And you must know this kind of thing k. Benefit. So this is indeed a new way to test me," Kurosawa said. "After your marriage, you established a company and hired me as your secretary. At the same time, this company is an empty shell, and most things are missing, that is, funds are set aside to invest in and acquire other companies. Then pay wages to some girls you know. Maintain everyone's quality of life. Is it? It turns out his company is like this. Then we can refute Ling Ling's rhetoric, because dad is not just eating soft food, but supporting others. It just means that after 10 years of marriage, Horikita-san is really having sex. I somewhat understand why Arisa chose to break up in a high-profile manner even in school. Because the other party definitely doesn't want to turn green. In this way. From Hui, I learned that he was also in contact with some girls. And about the future of some people. Ibuki-san became a police officer. Sato-san fulfilled her dream and became a fashion designer. And Sakura-san has become a very popular idol. As for Kushida-san, he became a doctor. Ichino's returned to work as the principal of the kindergarten run by her family. Megami, on the other hand, serves as his secretary, usually doing some chores or often helping to take care of the children. Horikita Suzun is also very grateful to him in terms of taking care of the children. But sometimes the family would eat at the venison restaurant owned by teacher Chibashira. It seems that Chibashira-sensei himself has found his own path. Oreki sorted out his complicated interpersonal relationships a little bit. At the same time, it was also revealed that Hui was not pregnant. Then you still have to choose the requirements in the task. Task requirement: send a birthday gift to my daughter who was born on October 24th. Task reward: none. Mission period: 7 days. Mission punishment: Mirai and Kushida get married. Because the information given by Megami here is that his children are only the daughters of Itayanagi and Horikita-san. However, Lingling and Union were not born in October. Therefore, the birthday of the daughter born in October required by the mission must be Alice. In the afternoon, lawyer Horikita came back. So, how is the situation? Oreki-san stepped forward and asked, while hanging the coat she took off aside. Horikita Suzune. But lawyer Horikita seemed to sigh deeply. Kushida is stubborn. I wanted to offer her legal aid but she refused. She said stupid things like although we can't be together, it would be nice to have a child together and plan to give birth to a child. That's it? Oreki knew better. So all scumbags should be punished by God, lawyer Horikita added. For it. I don't think you can curse like that. Oreki-san said. Horikita Suzune turned around. Why are you excusing the scumbag? Although lawyer Horikita has softened a lot since he became an adult, he has become brighter now. Well, I mean, Kushida-san is quite smart, so since he was deceived by the scumbag, maybe the scumbag also has his own reasons. For example, maybe there is something that needs to be done that prevents me from being with her. What else is more important than the pregnancy of the woman you love? Lawyer Horikita has a different view. That's true. However, Oreki-san was also the one who was deceived about Kushida-san's pregnancy. Because I didn't suspect that she was deceiving people before, and that the safe period she said was all fake. So. Oreki watched as lawyer Horikita returned. Shake your hand. Horikita Suzune looked at him with some confusion. However, he did not refuse such a level of contact. But. It's incredible. At the moment of shaking hands, lawyer Horikita looked at him with surprised eyes. Right. The fatigue of driving out, then condemning the scumbag with Kushida, and then driving back again disappeared. It is also important to occasionally surprise your wife and be curious about you. The next day, after sending the two children to kindergarten, if you wait a little longer, you will meet the principal, Itchy Nose, who comes to work. But Oreki didn't stop. After all, he didn't come here to do shameful things with the archangel. And if you don't complete the task, then maybe you really have to marry Kushida. I'm afraid everything will be changed now. But this is what Oreki-san doesn't want to see. As an energy-saving person, it is best to deal with the things at hand first. So. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yet. Chapter 587. He decided to ask out his other daughter first. Sakayanaga's daughter is 12 years old. With beautiful black hair and bright pupils. But as long as she puts on the silver wig, she will be a smaller version of Sakayanagi Yuzu. And now both Arisu appeared in front of him. It gives people the feeling of collecting stamps. So there I went, said Alice. Then he sat down obediently, then took out a high-level math book and started reading. And Oreki stared at her. Because the average 12-year-old girl is not going to watch this. But. After all, she is our daughter, so I have always taught her children in accordance with their aptitude. And her intelligence is also very high, so naturally she can learn more and let her learn more. This is how Sakayanagi Arisu explained. Regarding the other party's plan to teach his daughter, Oreki-san had no objection. After all, even though they have a daughter together, the person who accompanies Alice has always been Itayanaga-san. You have worked hard these years, Oreki-san said. Sakayanagi. Banliu-san seemed to be stunned for a few seconds. But quickly. She realized that Houtarou must be feeling guilty that she was carrying the child alone. Sakayanagi Yuzu seemed to pout slightly at this point. Because she was the one who publicly dated him at the beginning, but it was not her who finally married Houtarou. So. There is a use for giving birth to eggs early. So, Houtarou, why did you invite us out specifically? Sakayanagi said. If it's about the police arresting Mr. Pervert, I won't apologize. Because I've been very free recently, but you didn't ask me out at all. On the contrary, Horikita Suzune is obviously very busy all the time, and then by chance, when she has some free time, you immediately go out with her. Is it? So what I did at that time was really jealous. It's not that. Oreki shook his head. That's it. Oreki-san took out an exquisitely wrapped gift box from his pocket. This is my birthday present for Alice. It's a safe charm. The safe and sound talisman is carved from gold, which is shining and also symbolizes peace. Some family members will put this on their children. And it's also great as a birthday gift. But Alice's birthday is in October, and it's a little early for you to give her a gift now, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. But I am this month, so can you give me the gift first? I want to go to Sakura's concert, Sakayanagi said. Sakura. I should say Sakura Eri. She is now a hot star with a lot of fans, Sakayanagi Yuzu said. Even an old classmate like me would find it difficult to meet her. She looks very busy. And this means that Sakura-san will have a successful career. Oreki-san is willing to see this result. Only. You couldn't get her ticket, so you came to me, Oreki-san said. Because it's a concert in the afternoon, Arisu said. Ticket sales have stopped a long time ago. Yuzusaka Yanagi took out his mobile phone and checked. So, it's because of this that I can only find you. That's it? Because there is no way to find him. So, why do you think he can do it? Is this the use of money power or superpower? However, many of his chores were entrusted to Kuruzawa. Then, Oreki sent a message to Kuruzawa. Let her offer a large reward for Sakura-san's afternoon concert tickets. Although it is fun to go to the show, if you spend a lot of money, someone may refund the ticket. Only. Huh? Spend money to buy Sakura's ticket? Why do you do such a wasteful thing? Kuruzawa quickly replied. Oreki looked at his phone in confusion. Because Huey's message was sent again. Sakura always leaves a few tickets to her relatives and friends for every concert. And at times like this, it would be better to just ask her for it. Wait a moment, Huey's message was sent quickly. And not for a while. I got it, Huey continued to report. Sakura is happy that we went to see her. She has reserved VIP seats for us, just go in from the backstage. Huey sent a message. It seems that you are so proud. Oidalai was watching from the side when Oreki sent the message, so he confirmed that he got the ticket. And Sakayanagi said. Sakura-san obviously looks like a timid little animal, but when she grows up, she gives people a completely different feeling, like a swan unfolding directly. But you got the tickets so smoothly, so I care a little about the relationship between the two of you, Yuzusaka Yanagi said. Because I sent her a message before to ask for it, but she didn't have a ticket. So are you comparing the difference between the two? But. No, Oreki-san said quickly. Because Sakura-san is his friend. So how could there be any scandal? It would be better to say that the other party had helped him several times, so Oreki was also very grateful to the other party. And he was probably one of the few people of the opposite sex she knew, so she probably took more care of him. That's what Oreki-san originally thought. Chapter 276, Schrodinger's Daughter. On the stage, Sakura-san appears as the super beautiful Shizuku, and her temperament and personality have changed a lot. Logo generous. And below are her ardent fans. From time to time, you can hear uniform cheers such as Shizuku, Shizuku, we like you. Sakura-san is really different. Oreki had seen the other person in high school. Or rather, since Oreki was from high school, his impression immediately changed in a very powerful way. At that time, Sakura was not confident yet, even a little introverted. But now she is a real idol. Shizuku. Oreki-san also followed into the stream. Only. It's really surprising that Sakura-san has developed into the state, said Koitayanaga next to Oreki. Isn't this great, Oreki said. Oreki was sincerely happy for his friend. Yes, it's pretty good, Banliu said. The other party has come over to invite you. Oreki. After the concert ended, Oreki and the others did not leave. A staff member came over, who seemed to be Sakura's manager. The person wanted Oreki and the others to stay for a while. After a while, Sakura Eri, who had taken off her makeup, came in front of several people. Yanagi-san, I haven't seen you for a long time, Sakura said. And it's still so cute. Hee. Xiao Banliu thought he could remember it first. But Sakura, your personality now is very different from before, Xiao said. Because during the high school student council period, Sakura was. But now, I am no longer introverted and timid. Well, Oreki-san actually helped me a lot, Sakura said. He helped me train. Is it? There is also this thing. Oreki thought it should be recorded first. After all, if it is known that Sakura can become such an outgoing person in the future, then it is necessary to start training from the past. Although I think she is cute even if she is introverted, Sakura who is no longer afraid of people is the most suitable one. Would you like to have dinner together tonight? Kosake Yanagi extended an invitation. I probably don't have time, Sakura said. That's really a pity, Xiao Banliu said. Can you sign it for me? Alice held the autograph book. Of course, idol, Sakura said. But on the way back, Oreki discovered that he had received a message. Sorry, there is a celebration party today because they are all colleagues who work normally. I can't leave today. I will definitely make it up to you next time, Oreki-kun by Sakura. This kind of thing is understandable. But why do you have to explain it to him alone? Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 588. Does that mean Alice's birthday is October 24th? Oreki asked tentatively. After all, the task hangs there. And at first I didn't think the punishment of the mission was scary, which was to marry Kushida. But once he really marries her, all the future he has now may disappear. Even children disappear. This is something Oreki-san doesn't want to see. So now I am working hard on the task. But you are such an incompetent father, Yuzu said. Alice was born on October 21st, not the 24th, remember? Of course, this is also the reason why you were not around when she was born, Sakayanagi said. After all, I had already left school by then. Okay, this is your great achievement. Then Kamuro-san. Oreki and the others were using Itayanaga's car. The driver remained silent at the front. But the other person was an acquaintance, with long purple hair and a hairpin. This is Kamuro-san, Yuzusaka Yanagi said. I've hired her since I left school. The price is to give her 1 billion in 10 years, Yuzu said. That's it, the price of 1 billion is indeed a bit high. If it's a matter of money. Oreki thought he could use his superpowers to do something about it. Oh, I think it might be possible to save on this, Sakayanagi said. Kamuro-kun is a good person. I think it's a pity to let her go like this, so we have to find a way to keep her with us. Is it? I always feel like you are thinking about something dangerous. Moreover, to save money and so on, do you still want to continue having sex for nothing? Because it was confirmed that Alice's birthday is not October 24th. Oreki-san has turned into. So, who is the daughter whose birthday is on October 24th? According to the information obtained from Megami, he only has 3 children, 2 from Horikita and 1 from Itanaga. And now Kushida's child has not been born yet, and the time ratio of his precognitive dreams is also 1:1, so he will definitely not be able to wait until she is born. So it can be ruled out. Think so? I'll trouble you to send the children to kindergarten tomorrow, lawyer Horikita said. Lingian works as a lawyer, and the lawyer's job can sometimes be very idle, but most of it is very busy. In fact, Oreki also advised the other party to take less work, but Horikita-san said that if you can help one more person, then it will be a good thing. Oreki wouldn't stop him at this point. So, after washing up, eating breakfast, and making sure nothing was left behind, Oreki-san took Suzu and Nene out. It was known yesterday that Hui was on her period, and it would not be good to keep her busy during these days. So Oreki-san drove his children to kindergarten by himself. And this time, isn't Principal Ichino's here? Oreki decided to seek help from the Archangel. Although Hui is the secretary and knows a lot of information about him. But I can't find my daughter who was born on October 24th. So prepare to find another Ichino's Hanamai who understands him well, even his initial adolescent reaction to girls. Although Kushida can do it, it would be a bit cruel for Kushida to ask her about other girls and other daughters while she is pregnant. Oreki went to the kindergarten principal's office. As I was about to knock on the door, someone pushed the door open and came out. The other person has beautiful long pink blonde hair, delicate facial features, but a flat figure. It's Ichino's, no, not Ichino's. It's Ichino's younger sister Chan. This is Ichino's Kosu in the smaller size. Is your sister here? Oreki asked. She is inside, but there are guests now, Ziozu said. Seems like a high school classmate. That's it? Then he was probably a classmate in Yuchin High School. And Ichino's used to be the angel of Class B and had a good relationship with the classmates, so maybe he was from Class B or something like that. Equals. And are you busy now? Oreki asked. A child transferred into the school 2 days ago, but the first two had family matters and they were both asking for leave. Today she is here, so I went to take a look, Xiaozo said. Then let me go too, Oreki-san said. Now that Ichino's was waiting inside, it was strange to wait outside. So Oreki-san wants to help. It's okay to come, but she's very introverted, Ziozu said. She doesn't talk to people like this. Even if it's me, she doesn't pay much attention to me. Is it? So Oreki followed Koino's. It's Dad. Union was obediently staying in the early childhood education class, but soon she found her father coming to the corridor. And Oreki also discovered the new kid that Ichino's Chan was talking about. It seems that this is the newly transferred child that Union mentioned. The name is Kyanba. Indeed. Very similar to Kyanmei. Only. Looking at this child, how should I say, he has long silver white hair and is very beautiful, but his pupils are dark green. And there is a sense of déjà vu. It was like seeing a smaller version of another silver white girl. Could it be that her mother is Hiri Shiina? Oreki-san said. Hey, do you know him? Xiao Ichino's nodded. Yes, she is the one my sister is seeing now. They are high school classmates, and you are also a classmate with Oreki Nii. Of course, Shiina-san has a good relationship with them, and Oreki has entrusted Shiina to exploit the first-year students' points. Then complete your task. That's just it? 10 years later, everyone has their own lives. Ichino's Chan walked over to Kyan and seemed to say something. After a while, the introverted Kyan walked out of the back door of the classroom. Oreki thought that Ichino's was going to say something to Kyan. But he found that Xiao Kyan was walking directly and quickly towards Oreki, and when he came to his senses, she had already hid behind him. Two small white hands grasped the hem of his clothes. I want to go back to my mother's place. The class is too lively and I can't adapt to it, Xiaoxin said. Dad. Oh, that's how it is. So why? Director's office. Oreki met Ohizunos. Because he is the child of Shiina-san and Oreki-san, I will take good care of him. I'll try to deal with the introversion problem of children. I would rather say this is very reassuring. It feels like I finally helped, Daikino said. Well, long time no see, I'll go and get busy first. Ichino's is still so good at reading the atmosphere. But As soon as she left, the atmosphere became anxious. Oreki looked at the mature woman with beautiful long silver hair and white skin. You can tell that this is Hiri Shiina. But Oreki-san feels strange to Shiina-san like this. Shiina-san, Oreki-san said. Eh? Didn't you call me Hiri when you were reading with me? Why did you suddenly become Shiina? Shiina-san seemed to feel strange. But no. This is very strange. Because I never thought it would be like this. When did we get together? Oreki asked. This is an exam question. Test questions, Shiina said. It happened one night. When Oreki-san was in college, we were alumni, and we both liked books, so after inviting you to the dormitory, it became natural, Shiina-san said. Is it? Naturally. But I always feel like it's not his fault. So, Xiaoqing's personality is very introverted now, Oreki said. This is what I'm thinking about. If I can't handle it, then maybe I need to see a psychiatrist. Shiina-san became a little worried. I do have a solution, Oreki-san said. You can let her read more books, and look at the My Youth love story, which is indeed the problematic one. As expected of you, Shiina nodded. That book is indeed a healing elixir. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 589. So. Although the time may not be right now, I want to prepare this year's birthday present for her now, Oreki-san said. Dan Hai. He looked at him in surprise. Xiaoqiang's birthday is in November, and it's too early to prepare now. But you still have this heart, I'm satisfied, Shiina said. It is better to say that I have not been forgotten by you after all. No, this is because he doesn't know it at all. But, is Shiina-san's daughter's birthday in November? So, that's not it? Why? Oreki-san already has a big head. So, where is my daughter who was born on October 24th? Oreki-san brought up the system's task progress bar. Subline mission me 10 years later. Task requirement, send a birthday gift to my daughter who was born on October 24th. Task reward, none. Mission period, 7 days. Mission punishment, Mirai and Kushida marry. Note, the ratio of time in precognitive dreams to real time is 1:1. Current progress, 0%. So true. Sure enough, it was 0. Nothing was found. Until the next day. Megami also sent a message saying that her period was over, but Oreki-san was no beast. So, the two children at home were clamoring to play, so she entrusted her to take them to the beach. But the people in the car were not just the two children of Kuruzawa and Horikita. They spotted an acquaintance. Hee, it's Auntie Platycodon. The two children like Aunt Kuruzawa very much, and they also like Aunt Kikyo who gives them gifts. But has Auntie Platycodon become fat? No, there is a baby in the belly, Kushida said. Baby, so we are going to be sisters, Lingling said. X2. These words made both Kushida and Kuruzawa silent for a moment. Ha, can you say that? But Aunt Kushida did not deny it. After all, it really doesn't make any difference. Kuruzawa was thinking as he drove in front. Speaking of which, have the aunts and their parents known each other for a long time? Union seemed a little curious. Yes, Aunt Kushida said. Because we were all students in the same class before. So we are very familiar with each other. So, you also need to get along well with your classmates, Kushida said. Okay, X2. The two children nodded obediently. Yeah, Kushida smiled. She's great with kids. But today we went to the beach, Kuruzawa said from the front. Hee, seaside, The two children became excited. They loved playing in the water when they were at home, and now, being able to go to the beach is a good reward for them. But, after all, he is a child, and his way of expressing joy is very childish. Wait a minute, don't jump in the car. So, the car broke down halfway, so we had to give up going to the beach for the time being, and then went to the hot springs instead. Chapter 277, Shiina-san's Public Execution. Sakayanagi, early birth has its uses. Hot Spring Hotel. Megami chose this place because it was Oreki-san's property. After all, you can use your own things with confidence. This is what she wants to complain about Oreki-san, that is, he is very rich, basically by buying lottery tickets, investing in other companies, or repairing some very expensive antiques, etc. The income earned is very generous, and Oreki-san's expenses are also unique. That is to try to acquire some shops or service places related to food, clothing, housing, and transportation. According to his words, no matter how much money you have, it is just a number. So it is better to use it where you feel at ease. Yes, the other party was inhumane when he was in high school. In this way, using a lot of money, Huey's daily job is probably to buy stores or places that he might visit or hope to visit, such as private beaches, hot spring hotels, etc. This is the closest place to where their car broke down, and they can just walk there. The room was opened smoothly. The children were very excited. Although they couldn't go to the beach to play in the water, they could play in the hot springs. Rather, the hot springs were warm and hot, and both children liked it very much. And in this case, then Kushida-san and Kuruzawa will be freed. They waited for Lingling and Union to change clothes and then started chatting. Why do you want to get pregnant at this time? Hui said. After all, I'm old enough, Kushida-san said. Is it just that you have no idea about this at all? Kushida-san fulfilled her original promise and fell in love with Horikita Suzune. But it is also a pity that the three of them will be tied together for the rest of their lives. The only thing that doesn't feel uncomfortable is that it feels pretty good. I'll wait a little longer, but Kuruzawa shook his head. If I get pregnant, I won't be able to have contact with Houtarou for a while. Or rather, if I get pregnant, he will definitely not let me work anymore. Kuruzawa's job is to be Oreki-san's secretary or personal assistant. So once I'm not working, the number of meetings will decrease. But Kushida-san. It seems that he understands why Oreki-san is so indulgent and pampered like this. It's all because of Kuruzawa's habit. Ha! By this time, Lingling had already changed into her yukata and trotted over, but Union hadn't arrived yet. Has Nene changed her clothes yet? Kushida-san asked. She was talking to her classmates, Lingling said. But Zyokshun is a bit introverted, so it's best for only one person to be in contact with her. Oh. That's it? Are there other children like this in their class? Kushida-san is also very concerned about these two children. After all, she was the one who delivered the baby to a certain extent, so the rounding is considered part of her. The children's early childhood education class was placed at Ichino's Hanami's side. With the Archangel sitting in charge, everyone felt relieved. And like the students in their class, Kushida-san also knows the general situation. Only and introverted kids. Newly transferred here? He's a new transfer here. His name is Xiaoqian, Lingling answered honestly. Her mother has beautiful silver hair, which is great. I want silver hair too, Lingling said. Children at this age are looking forward to being different from others. So with black hair everywhere, I became interested in silver hair. Is it a head of beautiful silver white hair? Think a little. So, is it a petite woman who has physical disabilities and needs to use a cane to walk? Kushida-san asked. No, Lingling replied obediently, She is a young woman of medium height, fair skin, and silver hair that is longer than her waist. Kushida-san. I always feel that your description has a strong sense of familiarity. Ah, that's Xiaoxing's mother. Lingling stood on the other side of the corridor, then pointed in one direction and said. Kushida-san looked over. Hey, Xiaoxing's mother seemed to be surprised. Aren't these Kushida-san and Kuruzawa? Shiina-kun, X2. Over the years, although the three of them are students in the same school, they have not had much contact with each other. So it was really fate that we met in the same hotel. But are you bringing your children to the hot springs today? Kushida-san asked. Yeah. It's quite difficult to meet her father, so I came with her father. After all, this child is just an illegitimate child, so it's important to experience family travel together occasionally. Oreki Houtarou's Strength First Classroom. Author, Yu Yet. Chapter 590. Illegitimate Child. It's been a hard life, Shiina-san. However, Shiina-san is already a famous designer, so it is a bit strange that the child still has no status. Always felt. But Megami's eyes were on Shiina's classmate's daughter. She stared at Xiaoqiang's pupils. Xiaoqiang immediately hid behind her mother, and then cautiously stuck her head out, but found that Aunt Kuruzawa was still looking at her, so she quickly retracted. Seems very afraid of strangers. What's wrong? Shiina-san is quite smart. It's nothing, maybe I'm overthinking it, Hui said. By the way, Kushida-san, you are pregnant. Shiina Hiri noticed Kushida-san's slightly bulging abdomen. Yeah, I just got pregnant recently, Kushida-san said. I'm working in pediatrics now. After seeing so many children, it's time to look at my own. That means we are finally settling down, Shiina-san said. But you have to pay attention to your body. When I was pregnant, I always felt like vomiting. I don't have such symptoms, but sometimes I feel dizzy. Seeing the two of them, one experienced and the other experiencing symptoms, Kuruzawa showed a slightly flustered expression. So being pregnant is a really scary thing. She was already thinking about whether she was really going to have one. And thinking about it? Then I'll go back first, Shiina said after greeting her. He's waiting. Shiina-san is very smart, but actually she felt something was wrong the moment she found out that her daughter was greeting Oreki-san's daughter. Because her existence has not been revealed to anyone else. Rather, she is something like a mistress. And she also clearly understood the reason why it would become like this. It's just that it's very bad now. I unexpectedly met Oreki-san's children here, as well as Kushida-san and Kuruzawa. So, is her situation going to be exposed? But no. Rather than being exposed passively, it is better to pretend to contact old classmates and then pretend to be busy to cover it up. So, it seems that I was lucky enough to avoid it. After all, Ayanokaji-san's civil law reform has just been implemented, and most people haven't been able to accept it yet. But as long as this acceptance period is passed, she will no longer have to hide. Only. Shiina, the clothes you gave me are a bit too big at this time. A boy walked out of the room on one side. The boy is very handsome, and delicate. He's a real handsome guy. What is very eye-catching is the other party's dark green pupils. At the same time, he was probably changing clothes just now, so his neck was exposed and his collarbone was a bit sexy. Yes. For girls, they also think boys are sexy. After all, this is Houtarou Oreki, their school darling from the past. Only. X5. In an instant, their eyes met. Oreki/Houtarou, didn't you say you were very busy, so you asked Kushida/Kuruzawa to accompany me to relax? Oreki. So why did you meet here when you were obviously going to the beach? In order to complete the mission, Oreki-san found that the daughter required by the mission was not found. So, I wanted to see if I could get some information from Shiina-san. For example, all K knew were his regular children, such as Ling Ling and Yin Yin, as well as Sake and Aga's daughter Alice. But it's like Xiaoqiang on Shiina-san's side. Oreki also just knew. In other words, is it possible that the daughter whose birthday is on October 24th as required by the mission is an illegitimate daughter somewhere? That's why this happened. I specially asked Shiina-san to come out. At the same time, it was discovered from the kindergarten that Xiaoqian was relatively introverted and even seemed to need intervention. Oreki is also reflecting on whether the companionship and love given to his child are not enough, so the other person's character is somewhat lacking. So I wanted to spend some time with my child. Then you kill two birds with one stone. But now, not a single one is left. I didn't expect you to be that kind of person, Shiina-san Kushida-san said. Kushida-san was everyone's little angel in high school. Everyone likes them. But now, Shiina-san feels that the other party is too mean. I didn't mean it either, Shiina said. It seems that he is preparing to tell the original story. Oreki-san, while accompanying Xiaoqian to turn the flower rope, paid some of his attention. He also asked Shiina classmate why it developed like this, and the other party's reply was that it was natural. And now? How does this happen naturally? Do I have to say it? Shiina-san didn't seem to want to talk about it. That was in college. I'm very curious. Kurosawa glanced at Oreki and seemed to have caught the other person's eyes. Then he spoke out what Oreki-san was thinking. He was also curious. University, then you should know by then that he has proposed to Horikita-san. Megami discovered Hwadian. Stop, Hiri said quickly. The way you describe it, it seems that I am well, that kind of person. Actually, I want to say no, Shiina-san said. Horikita was very active and busy at university, but Oreki-san didn't seem to like the major he chose, so he often came to the library to see me, no, I mean read a book with me. As you know, I'm just a nerd, so my feelings at that time were very pure. Hiri said. Because I am a book friend, I continue to keep his phone number. It is for this purpose, do you believe it? Benefit, it's rare that you've said so much, so let's just believe it. It's just Hui said. After Oreki went to college, he rarely went to the library. You know this, it's like this. We have similar tastes, and sometimes the library's book resources are tight, so in order to save money, the two of us take turns reading a book. And you also know that Oreki likes to save energy. Can you save energy enough to read a book together? And I say this, do you believe it? Shiina-san said. You said so, let's just believe it, Kurosawa said. And I have a lot of books in my apartment that, well, I bought with my money from high school. In other words, highly educated high school cash machines. Since there are books in the apartment, I can save time going to the library, so I invited Oreki-san over, Shiina-san continued. Then, accidentally, because the book is very interesting, and some books take a lot of time to read, because it was too late, and it was the person I invited, so I was too embarrassed to chase him away when I saw him sleeping. Come on, so, do you believe what I say? Shiina continued. So, you two just spent the night like this, but Kushida-san said in a not angelic tone. Don't use such words, I didn't sleep without sleeping, Hiri said quickly. I'm just too tired from reading. But no wonder you always looked exhausted when I saw you back then. Houtarou did have a lot of energy, Kurosawa said. No, there is no such thing as exhaustion. Please don't use such ambiguous words, Hiri-san quickly explained. Because she already felt shame. Actually, it was quite innocent at that time, Shiina-san continued. He didn't come to my apartment very often, and he didn't do anything transgressive. So we only read books occasionally, and often discussed. It was innocent. And it was innocent. Do you believe this? Kushida-san. As a representative of high EQ and low IQ, Kushida-san felt that something was wrong with this. So when did the change happen? Hui continued to take over. Probably once, Shiina-san said. He was too sleepy from reading. I saw that he was asleep, so I covered him with a quilt, and then he thought he was Horikita-san and hugged him. Indeed, he has the habit of hugging people when he is sleeping. Kurosawa seemed to understand and nodded. So you just stayed with him like this? Of course not. He woke up at that time and apologized to me. I also forgave him. It was not a big deal after all, Shiina said. It's not a big deal if a boy hugs you, Kurosawa complained softly. Hiri quickly continued to explain. Well, what I'm talking about is that we were drinking tea and reading in the apartment as usual, but I always felt that something was wrong after being hugged by him, so I was a little confused for a while. Then I burned my tongue. Because it hurt a lot and I screamed. He looked over with concern. Then I had to show him. I stuck out my tongue a little bit and closed my eyes. Hey, X3. But in an instant, Shiina-san received surprised looks from everyone. Because? Why do you have to close your eyes when it's so hot? This is the surprised Kushida classmate. Why do you stick out your tongue? This is Hui. Well, okay. Shiina-san then lowered his head. Because such a handsome guy is always with you, so it's impossible for him not to waver. And he only comes to my dormitory after taking a shower. It smells very good. Okay. Confirmed. It was Shiina-san who couldn't control herself.